Hi everyone, welcome to Make Moments Matter, a music education podcast, where I share lesson ideas, songs, games, and inspiring things for your elementary music classroom. My name is David Rao, and I am the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. This episode of the podcast is a replay containing the audio version of a Musical Mondays live video. If you're not familiar with Musical Mondays, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I go live on Facebook and Instagram to share about the lessons that I'm using in class with my students. I give a recap of my kindergarten through 5th grade lessons, and then do a deep dive about one grade level and share the books, instruments, songs, and process that I use to teach the lesson to kids. This podcast episode contains all the audio from the Musical Mondays video, but if you'd like to see a replay of the video itself, you can find a link to the archived video on YouTube when you click the link in the notes for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's the show. Hey everyone, my name is David Rao, and I'm the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my videos or my content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, a variety of other places when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. Sorry I'm having a little bit of a late start. I am having the worst technology day. So I hope that you all can see me, hear me. I don't know if this is working, but we'll find out. So before I get too far, if you can't hear me, see me, please, write some in the comments like, David, help. Or if you can hear me, David, I can hear you. Anyway, so where can you find, when I talk about the books and resources and other things that I'm going to talk about today, where can you find those? On my blog, makemomentsmatter.org, I have a whole drop-down page under the video tab that's dedicated to all the links, books, resources, and things I talk about in these videos. You can also, wherever you're watching, listening, you can generally, at the bottom of the caption of that, you can find a direct link. Thank you for people on Instagram and Facebook confirming you can see and hear me. Sorry, I don't know why I'm having the worst technology day. I'll talk about it in a second. One more thing, if you want to join, there's a Facebook group, Every Moment Matters, a music education community. Join, ask questions, make friends. It's a great place to learn together. Okay, 3 quick housekeeping things, and then we'll jump into today. So several years ago, I created a podcast series where I interviewed folks from all around the world of Orff Schulwerk to talk about what is Orff Schulwerk, what are applications of Orff Schulwerk, what does that look like in my classroom, why should I do training, all sorts of stuff like that. And so it's been a while since I had those conversations, but I felt like they were so helpful. So I'm re-releasing those. There's a new episode coming every week. There are 2 out currently that are in my podcast feed right now, but you can find more every week as they come out. Or if you're just dying to hear them, you can go back in the podcast feed to 2018 and hear more. But those are coming out, so please check those out. I'm going to be in Utah in not a couple weeks, in a week, next weekend. I'm going to be there for the Music Educators Association State Conference in St. George, Utah. I'm so excited to be there. If you're there, please seek me out and say hello. And I know 2 people in Utah, so if you come and say hi, it'll be 3. So come and say hi, and I'd love to meet you if you're there. There's I've been doing giveaways these past 3 weekends for my book companion resources, and everybody who wins gets a copy of a free book in the resource. So if you are interested, there's going to be one more giveaway this Friday, starting this Friday and running through the weekend. So check that out if you're interested. Great to have more resources. Okay, so I'm having the worst technology day. This morning, a kid walks in and holding a Squishmallow, which I'm even impressed that I even know what that is. And then I was like, oh, hey, that's Grogu, right? For Baby Yoda. And he was like, no, it's a Pokemon, and then named off some Pokemon. And I found out I'm generations behind on I knew there was an expanded Pokemon. I didn't know there were new starters. Anyway, whatever. And so then just this last week, I asked my student teacher about Instagram. Not that I don't know how Instagram works, but I was like, I gotta ask you a Gen Z question. Can you please? And then tonight, I'm trying to use my iPad so I can mirror, so I can show y'all better what I'm going to be talking about tonight. And my iPad's not working. I can't find the stand for it. It's just not showing up. I don't know. So anyway, I was like, I guess I'm just going to break out my whiteboard. So that's what I did. Because now this makes me feel really old. If the other technology doesn't work, at least my whiteboard will definitely work. You'll be able to see it. I don't know. Probably the markers are all dead. Who knows? But anyway, we're technology. And so anyway, and then I couldn't stream, whatever. Okay, well, anyway, tonight in this video, I wanted to talk about books some more, because last week I talked about children's books. I talked about where you can find them, how to search for good ones, where to find discount books, all those sorts of things. If you want to learn more about finding books and some strategies in finding good books for music, check that video from last week. But tonight I wanted to talk about how to create things that go along with your books. So a lot of people, when they teach a book, they're like, oh, I've got this fun little poem, or I've got this cute little song, or I've got this whatever. You don't have to have that to make a book worthwhile for your classroom. You can just read the book. That's great. It doesn't have to have a jingle or a song or whatever. That you can, it adds context to your lesson. If it gives historical information or context, if it highlights a musician or an artist that you think is really important, then share that lesson or share that book with kids. It doesn't have to have a rhythm or a body percussion or something if you don't want. But tonight I wanted to talk about how you can make those yourself. You don't have to get them in a workshop. I mean, you can find cool ones at a workshop. You don't have to. There are ways to create those on your own. I want to talk about 2 ways to do that tonight with books that I am using for an upcoming concert. So this concert that's coming up, it's all about food. It's for my 2nd graders. And I talked to my librarian and I was like, hey, I've got some ideas for books that I can use, because I sort of wanted to have like 1 book per homeroom, per class, so that they can have like their own special story, their own special part of the concert, so they can like come to the front, parents can get pictures of their kid out in front. And so I wanted to have like 1 book for each homeroom. And so I had a couple ideas already, but I went to the librarian at my school and I was like, hey, Carrie, do you have any like great ideas about books? Like, what do you think? And she was like, oh, I've got these like 4 ideas, but let me keep looking. And so then like I walked down with her and she like pulls, oh, and take this one, and that one, take. And so like I got like a bunch of books right then. And then like an hour later, a kid walks down with like a tote with more books and was like, Mrs. Potachik wanted you to have some more books. So like she'd found more. She found so many cool books. Some that I knew of and some that I didn't. So I want to talk about 2 books and how you might use them. And so they're both food-ish themed because that's the theme of my concert. It's food. So one of those books is The Pigeon Finds a Hot Dog. If you know the Pigeon series by Mo Willems, they're hilarious. It's about a very mischievous pigeon. Okay, let me just read part of this. The Pigeon Finds a Hot Dog. Ooh, a hot dog! Flap, flap, flap. Yummy, yummy, yummy! Ah! And out peeks the head of a duckling. If you're listening to this on the podcast, there's a duckling that shows up. May I help you? Scooty, scoot, scoot. Is that a hot dog? Not a hot dog. My hot dog, clarified the pigeon. Ah! And the duckling sort of like taps his beak. I have a question. I've never had a hot dog before. What do they taste like? Well, they are a taste sensation. Each morsel is a joy, a celebration in a bun. If you've never experienced the splendor of a hot dog, you should really... Wait a second. This hot dog is mine. I found it. Of course, enjoy, says the duckling. Go ahead. Ah, and the pigeon goes to eat the hot dog. Would you say it tastes like chicken? Can you believe this guy? What? It just tastes like a hot dog, okay? Okay, says the duckling. So it doesn't taste like chicken then? Oh, for Pete's sake. Hey, I'm a curious bird. That's it! Screams the pigeon. Kids love this because it's hilarious and crazy and the pigeon screams, of course. It's my hot dog, right? Mine, mine, mine! This is unbelievable. Finders keepers is what I say. I'm a curious bird. What do they taste like? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, right. I can't take it anymore. What am I supposed to do? I think I've got an idea, says the duckling. On the next page, they're both eating half of a hot dog. You know, you're pretty smart for a duckling. Needs mustard, says the duckling. So they end up sharing, right? So it's a cute little book. And I was like, I really want like a rhythm or a poem or body percussion or something that will go along with this book. What should I do? Okay, well, so if you've ever taken an ORF course, if you've ever been to ORF level 1, or even if you've been to an ORF workshop, you might have seen one of these books before. This is the Music for Children. This is volume 1. There are 5 different volumes. Each one has its own theme, its own content. This one is all pentatonic music plus a bunch of extras and other stuff. So, it's long yellow book. It's an old book. If you don't know how to read it, it's easy to look at it and be like, this is not helpful. Like you sort of have to know what you're looking for in the book to be able to pull things out. It's not written like a textbook from the last 20 years because it's not. It's from last century. Anyway, so it's an older book. You have to figure out how to read it. And so one of the things in here is that it has a lot. Basically, it has a lot of examples of things you can use, things you can modify, things you can try. And so there are nursery rhymes, there's rhythms, there's melody, there's ideas for echoing, there's ideas for ostinato. There's in 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 6/8, 9/8, 12/8, 5/4. Like all different, lots of examples. So I went in looking, and I went into the section that's titled Rhythmic Rondos. Well, yeah, there's rhythmic rondos on page 67. If I go over another page to page 68, 69, then I get into some exercises. And I was looking basically for something that was accessible for my second graders, that they could speak or perform or clap or whatever, add body percussion, and something that I could include the words from The Pigeon Finds a Hot Dog. And so how do you do that? Well, I started looking, and if you look, I know you can't really see. Sorry. This is where the iPad was going to come in really handy, but since it's not working, basically it has all these examples of like things you can do, things you can use. And so one of the ones that I found has sort of a back and forth clapping pattern. This is, if you have the book, this is exercise number 3 on page 69. This is in volume 1 of Music for Children. So anyway, the rhythm, what I did was I took the rhythm and I sketched it out on a piece of, on the back of some recycled paper. I just keep a lot of paper that I can use. So I sketched out the rhythm. Bum, bum, bum. And this is, instead of doing 2 separate lines, I sort of put them in one line. Bum, bum. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. So ta, ta, ta. Dee ta dee ta dee ta dee ta. Ta ta dee ta. Dee ta dee ta dee ta. Rest. Right? And then 2 measures of ta dee 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 ta dee. And the last measure, oh yeah, see, I said whiteboards are gonna work so well. It's not working so well. This is where the technology would have been great had it worked. Okay, and then very similar to the front. Bum, bum, bum. That marker works so much better. It does not. Bum, 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 bum. Rest. Okay, so basically it condenses down to ta, ta, ta. Dee ta dee ta dee ta dee ta. Ta, ta dee ta. Dee ta dee ta, ta. Ta dee 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 ta, ta, ta. Dee ta dee ta dee ta. Or dee ta dee ta ta. So it's basically like an A, B, A, basically, with some modifications and some changes. So what I was like, this could work. And the way it's written is that it's written like part A, part B. Part A, part B. Part A, bum 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 and bum bum. Part B, bum bum. So it's like this back and forth, simple rhythm, but a cool sort of a clapping pattern, sort of back and forth. And so then I took the book and I was like, okay, well, what can I do that would match this rhythm? Okay, so I started thinking about words. How would they fit it? And I was like, it's a back and forth clapping. Maybe I could have one be the words of the pigeon and one be the words of the duckling. And so I started trying to put them in. Okay, so I was like, mine, mine, mine. And then I found this hot dog. Now it's mine. And I was like, okay, what is that? I can eat it all. So then I started having to like take this rhythm and I had to start like modifying, changing some rhythms just a little bit so that the words would fit in correctly. And they did for the most part, but then I couldn't really get exact quotes from each of the different pairs to fit on the correct like placements. So it was like even if I had a part one and a part two, it really wouldn't quite fit the way that it would need to for it to feel like one character talking to another because of just like trying to make their little sound bites fit in with the rhythms. I hope that makes sense. So instead of like pigeon, duckling, back and forth, their words just didn't fit in quite the right way. So then I was like, well, I'm just going to make it just the pigeon. He talks the most. I was able to start actually fitting words in. I had to change some rhythms, but I think that's okay because really in this book, I'm not publishing anything from this book. I'm not like going to do this at Carnegie Hall. Like these exercises in here are made to be adapted, made to be an example. And so I can use these as an example. So I went with I tried to fit in words that I thought would work. So the first one was like ta, ta, ta. So I was like, mine, mine, mine. I was like, that could work. What is that? That could work, maybe. What is this? And so I was like, that could work. And then I was like, my hot dog. That I feel like would be a great opening statement for the pigeon. So that's what I've tentatively gone with. My hot dog. I found this hot dog. Now it's mine. And then the next one, I was like, ooh, a hot dog. I don't know. I need to find one that works better there because I could say again like my hot dog again if I wanted, but I might go through and see if there's something else that works a little better. Yeah, so right now it's like my hot dog. I found this hot dog. Now it's mine. My hot dog. Celebration in a bun. It's my hot dog finders keepers. It's my hot dog finders keepers. It looks so good. Each morsel is a joy. And so like I just basically like took little tidbits from the book and sort of put them in this rhythm that's already given to me. The cool thing is that I'm not creating from scratch. This rhythm like idea is given to me. It's 8 measures long. It's not that crazy. It's totally accessible rhythmically for my kiddos. It also has like dynamic suggestions written in, and it has a little crescendo in there written in, made to be clapped, made to be performed. So like, it's my hot dog finders keepers. It's my hot dog finders keepers. It looks so good. Like, so basically you can just take this idea, and then if one of the rhythms in here doesn't work exactly, just move things around a little bit or change rhythms as needed. And the great thing is because it gives you this sort of structure skeleton, you don't have to create, but you know that like this basically works. I can adjust a few little things. If you start adjusting too many things, then it may not work together as well. But it works pretty well for what I've got so far. There are still some things that like I want to move around, I want to try, but I think for right now, like this works pretty good. The thing is that then, like I have this idea of that it's going to work, but then I have to let my kids try it. And then there's sometimes where the kids try it, because like I taught ORF Level 1 this last summer, and I found this with a lot of my students, and I'm thinking back to when I was an ORF Level 1 student, and I think this is true for me. You look at this example of just the rhythms, and you start writing words in, and in your head you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then someone else says it and does not say it the way you wrote it. And you're like, ooh, I did not write it the way that is most natural, right? And that happens. And so, or like a kid does it and the kid does it totally different than the way you wrote it out. Well, that's a sign for you that either you need to rewrite it or you need to change the words or something. But you put it out there and you go, okay, well, this is my best guess for what will work. And then you take it to your kids. And if it doesn't exactly work, modify, make changes, do something else. But this book has so many funny quotes in it that so many of them did work with some modification. Like, for example, my hot dog. I found this hot dog. Now it's mine. Okay, that is like almost a direct quote from the pigeon. Yeah, page whatever. I found this hot dog. Now it's mine. Right. This hot dog is mine. I found it. Okay. Well, so I can just flip it around. And there are lots of little things in here that you can make, change, modify. But the cool thing is that this book lends itself really well to adding to a rhythm that's already in the volume. this has a lot of great examples. There's another book, if I can pull it out, that you probably get if you've done your level 1. It's called Rhythmische Übung, and it is, or RU, people refer to it. It's another book that's just full of examples, etudes, ideas, thoughts, things that you can use. And it's really easy to add words if you're interested. So that's what I did with book 1. And like I said, I have not yet put it with kids. So that's like this next week. So I'll come back and be like, hey, this thing didn't work. But it's just something that like you can absolutely take a book that you're inspired by, add a rhythm. The next book that I did worked a little differently. So this book is called Creepy Carrots. I didn't know about this one until my librarian gave it to me, and she was like, you should try it. Sorry, looking at Instagram. Am I teaching level 1? Nope, I'm only teaching level... Or am I teaching level 2? No, I'm only teaching level 1. But thanks so much for asking. I'm teaching level 1 this summer in Orlando. If you're interested, I think there's still spots in the course. Check it out, Central Florida Orff chapter. Okay, so this book is called Creepy Carrots. This is by Aaron Reynolds and Peter Brown. So I just started reading it to be like, well, what's this like? Maybe we could do it. I don't know. Let's find out. Maybe it'll work. Jasper Rabbit had a passion for carrots. And the carrots that grew in Krakenhopper Field were the best. Fat, crispy, and free for the taking. He pulled some for a morning snack on the way to school. He yanked out a few on his way to Little League practice. He ripped them from the ground on his way home at night. Jasper couldn't get enough carrots. Until they started following him. Oh my God, what a great book already. He first noticed something strange after the big game against the East Valley Hares. Jasper was about to help himself to a victory snack when he heard it. The soft, sinister tunk, tunk, tunk of carrots creeping. He turned, but there was nothing there. Just my imagination, he thought, but he hopped a little faster. That night as he was brushing his teeth, there they were. Jasper whipped around, but nothing. He laughed at himself, picked his toothbrush off the floor, and went to bed quickly. The next morning, he approached Krakenhopper Field slowly. He reached for 2 wild carrots. Nothing happened. He bit into one. Nothing happened. Oh, creepy carrots. It was ridiculous. But when he arrived home that evening, "Mom! Mom!" Jasper screamed. "Creepy carrots in the shed!" His mom opened the door slowly. There weren't any carrots. Not even the regular kind. "There are no such things as creepy carrots," Mom said, shaking her head. Later that night, as Jasper lay in bed, he heard it. Breathing. Terrible carroty breathing. And then, there, on his wall, "Creepy carrots!" he shouted. "Dad! Dad!" And his dad thumped into his bedroom and threw on the light. They searched under the bed. No creepy carrots. They looked through the closet. No creepy carrots. They opened the dresser drawers. No creepy carrots. "Just a bad dream, son," his dad said, shaking his head. "Now go to sleep." That wasn't going to happen. By the end of the week, Jasper was seeing creepy carrots creeping everywhere. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it keeps going on. Anyway, Jasper gets so paranoid, he goes and builds a super huge fence around Krakenhopper Field. And it says, on his way home, there was no tunk, tunk, tunk. There was no creepy carrot shadows. His plan had worked. They would never get out of the carrot patch again. And then all the carrots inside are like, hooray, we're not going to get eaten. So like they have like a party inside. So anyway, it's a super cute book. So this one I did after the first one. And so I already had in my head, I was like, okay, I feel like I have a rhythm there. Because there's like no like repeated phrases or anything here. And I'm like, well, obviously that's what you'd repeat. But I like started sketching. I took some just random paper and I started sketching out what I thought it could be. And I wrote, will it work on here? No, I'm not even going to put it on the whiteboard because I don't think it's going to show up. Anyway, so the creepy, creepy carrots right behind you. Here we come. Creepy, creepy carrots. Tunk, tunk, tunk. Creepy, and then repeat. Creepy, creepy carrots right behind you. Here we come. Creepy, creepy carrots. Tunk, tunk, boo. Okay, now I was like, do I read it from the thought pattern, or like from the vantage point of Jasper the rabbit, or from the carrots? Obviously from the carrots. It's going to be way more fun for my kids. So once I wrote that out, it was real simple. It's just a 4-measure phrase that we repeat, and the second time we repeat, you just change the last word. So I wrote it out: ta-dee, ta-dee, ta, ta, ta-dee, 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 ta, ta-dee, ta-dee, ta, 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 ta. And like knowing that my other class is going to do like all clapping, where like half the class, they clap back and forth to each other. I was like, what if for this one, we split up the body percussion? So we could do the poem one time, maybe the next time, later on in the story when he's like, creepy carrots, we say the words, but we whisper. Maybe a few more pages later, we don't say the words out loud, we just do the body percussion. Just so like he can hear the pattern, but he doesn't really see the carrots anymore, to sort of like follow the story. So when I did the body percussion, I wrote on top of the letters, I was like, oh, pat, stomp, pat, clap, what can I do? So I ended up with like, creepy, creepy, stomp, stomp, right behind you, here we come, creepy, creepy carrots, tunk, tunk, tunk. So pat, 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 stomp, stomp, pat, 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 clap, 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 pat, 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 stomp, stomp, pat, clap, snap. And if we do it right, like not right, but like if we do it with a more like sort of with a build, both emotionally and with dynamics, creepy, creepy carrots right behind you, here we come, creepy, creepy carrots, tunk, 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 creepy, creepy carrots right behind you, here we come, creepy, creepy carrots, tunk, tunk, boo. And then it could be the same with the body percussion. It could be really fun and really exciting. And then each couple pages, I just have the students up there, perform the body percussion. I'm even thinking of like, how could we like create little like carrots like to hold up or something, or maybe to like they have around a little necklace, and when it's the time to do this book, they like whip it around so there's like a carrot on the front of them. I don't know. I'm still working that out, but this was really easy to like once, especially I think because of the first one I did, I used an example from Music for Children as sort of a framework. Then when I did the second one, it just sort of flowed a little naturally, and I'm doing something a little different than the pigeon book. I'm doing something for this one, so it's not just all clapping, it's clapping and patting and stomping and snapping. And it works a little bit differently in the book. So I'm excited about what we can do, but again, I need to put this on children and like let them try it. I think that the words work pretty well with the body percussion. I think they'll be able to do all the levels, but I think I can simplify if I need to. Instead of doing stomping, I wasn't going to do stomping, and then I was like, but the carrots are creeping. We got to have like some sort of feet movement. So instead of, if that is a hindrance, we could just keep it patting and clapping. There's only one snap, so I'm not asking a lot of snaps from them. I know sometimes kids are like, I can't snap. Well, this is only one, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. But like I said, I got to try it with kids and see how it works. And if it doesn't work, then I just need to make changes. But anyway, that's my plan for this book. And I'm real excited about it. There is a third class in the third book, one that I've already done, but it's a little bit more involved, so I decided not to talk about that one tonight. But anyway, I just want to encourage you, like, if you're like, oh man, I have this really great book, but, what could I do? Well, get some examples, get some things, try it out, listen to the words, see what the words sort of inspire you to maybe do next. There are a lot of great things you can do. Like I said, if you've done level 1 of Orff Schulwerk, this yellow book has some really, really, really great examples, things that you could use as a framework if you wanted. Also, the rhythmische Übung, it's another great example. If you've not done level 1, these books, they are accessible, but they're a little bit tricky if you don't know what you're doing. So go to an Orff workshop, take the books and say, somebody help. Or here's what I'm thinking, but what do you think? Because they are really, really valuable resources if you sort of know what you're hoping to do with them. Andrea says, what grade level do you encourage to start snapping? I encourage kindergarten to start snapping, but they can't always do it in time. So I usually start encouraging that around second grade. Probably, I mean, like reliably. I think they could maybe do it in first grade, but to ask them to do it multiple times and reliably, second grade, third grade. Let's see. Matthew says, instead of stomping, you could tiptoe. Oh, for sure, the first time. But I think that as we build the creepy carrots thing, they're gonna want to stomp. Like as we build like the excitement, but for sure tiptoe. As like I just imagine, I know exactly which kids are gonna be perfect for this. You know, like tongue, tongue, tongue. You're like I can just see it in my mind's eye of what exactly they're gonna do. But yes, tiptoeing for sure. And then as we go, it's gonna need to be even more. I'm very excited about it. So anyway, those are my ideas for those books. Those books are The Pigeon Finds a Hot Dog by Mo Willems and Creepy Carrots by Aaron Reynolds and Peter Brown. If you want to check out where you can buy those books for less money, or for if you want to check out like where you can discount books and things, how to find books, where to look for them, check out my video from last week. I talk all about that. And this weekend, look for one more giveaway weekend starting on Friday, running through Sunday. I'll be back next week with more ideas. I hope to share more with you. If these weeks talking about books were really helpful, or something else, please let me know. Because usually I just go through my lesson plans, things like that. And I decided to take a little deviation and try this because it's something I was really excited about and I wanted to share. But if you're like, hey, this is helpful, or could you talk more about blah, 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 please let me know either in the comments or send me an email at makemomentsmatter@gmail.com. And I would love to hear your comments, check in, and hopefully provide more resources that are helpful. All right, thanks so much, everyone. Have a great week. I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.